New York City, Bill Thompson, who was the closest, the runner-up to Bill de Blasio in the mayoral primary, is dropping out, and de Blasio is now the official nominee. There's no real surprise there, but
He hasn't done it yet.
He hasn't done it yet, but reports are that he's going to drop out today and clear the way for Bill de Blasio. Thompson didn't really have much of a chance. Basically, in New York, there's a primary. If one candidate reaches 40%, there isn't a runoff. De Blasio has been at 40%. Thompson was saying he was going to hang in there until all of the votes are counted, but apparently something has changed, and apparently he's going to be bowing out of the race today. So it will be Bill de Blasio, Democrat, Joe Lhota, the Republican. The Koch brothers are already dumping some money into the city, and here we go. Big New York race.
I don't see how in any sort of scenario we have a Republican mayor this time around.
You know, the thing with Joe Lhota, he's just an awful candidate. I'm not on
I just can't
paper-
picture. I especially can't picture New York voting for someone involved the way he was with the MTA.
Well, basically, Joe Lhota, really quickly, his background, he has a Brooklyn working class background. Then he worked in finance, made a little bit of money, worked in the Giuliani administration, went back into finance, came back, and was the head of the MTA, which, for those of you outside of the city, that means he runs the subways. And the big thing is he's been responsible for pushing through a lot of fare hikes. And that is actually the kind of like epitome of the problem of the Bloomberg years, which is that people who, from the working class through many people who are in the middle or upper class, whatever, most working New Yorkers rely on the subway to get where they need to go. They're not getting cars, driving them to their place of work. They don't take a private helicopter from Long Island or Westchester, like, some people in or Connecticut. And those fare hikes really matter. And the fiscal crisis, and it's not even been a fiscal crisis in New York, but any fiscal problems are always shifted. The burden of taxation is shifted onto working people, like something like subway hikes, and Lhota has been responsible for that. On top of which, he's just a terrible candidate. I mean, his acceptance speech, he gave an acceptance speech when he won the Republican primary, which, bear in mind, meant like how many people voted in the New York City Republican primary?
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Anthony Weiner, who came in last with 4% of the Democratic primary,
Right.
had more votes than Joe Lhota, who won the Republican primary.
So there's like nobody's voting, and he gave a victory speech that sounded literally like something, and this is no offense to accountants here, but it sounded like something an accountant or some other professional who had never been involved in politics but had a strong fantasy life might deliver to himself in the shower, accepting like a fake nomination in his head. It was one of the most awkward, and it was just, and it's clear, he's going to try to run a fear-based campaign and try to put together the same coalitions that have kind of elected Republicans in New York City in the past, but we're just in a completely different time. And a lot of those appeals are out of date. I think de Blasio, vote, work on it. It really matters as an election. But, I think he's going in with a, very, very healthy chance of winning this election pretty comfortably.
Let's put it this way. If you dislike this certain individual as much as I do, Joe Lhota has the backing of Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy.
And there's no one I dislike more
than Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy
Giuliani took a break from advocating for Serb nationalist ethnic cleansers with his lobbying group to cut a couple of ads for Lhota. But anyways, that's actually true. That is what literally the type of thing that Rudy Giuliani's up to.